Our next guest, I mean, he's basically a superhero. Just set 2 world records after completing 7 Olympic distance triathlons on 7 continents in 7 days. But he first had to overcome some adversity, and his motivation to continue his grueling challenge is even more impressive. I want you to meet Raymond Braun, who joins us this morning to share more about his story. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
This is awesome. All right, so there's so many layers of this story. But first of all, the event itself.
Yes.
This is pretty amazing. Now, a lot of people may have heard of the World Marathon Challenge, and you partnered with them.
I did.
Great initiative on your part.
Thank you.
But you took it a step further. You're doing 7 triathlons.
Exactly.
Physically, how was it?
Physically, I would say the first couple of days I was definitely riding high on adrenaline and excitement. When you put a year of training into something, I was like, we're finally here. And then I would say around day 5 or 6, my body started to shut down. And that's really where I had to pull on a lot of the mental tools that I've been working on.
So the good news is you have other people there. They're not doing the triathlon that you are. They're running, which is part of what you did, running, biking, and swimming. So you have a bit of a support system, right?
Absolutely.
As this is going. But it's exhausting. I mean, the travel that's involved, you're trying to sleep on the plane. What do you think is, in a week, the longest you slept consecutively?
Probably 2 hours. And it wasn't even on a plane. It was in an airport when we got delayed. I just laid down on a column, propped my backpack up, and you take the sleep wherever you can get it.
So that you're going on adrenaline.
Exactly.
To do the whole thing. And for you, the difference between those who are running the marathons, you're swimming as well. It sounds great if you're in Miami, but if you're in Antarctica, how does that work?
So in Antarctica, I did a winter triathlon, so I cross-country skied. But when I was in Madrid, the weather was about 40 degrees. It was just above freezing. And I'd actually donated my polar wetsuit that I had in case I was able to swim in Antarctica to the team in Cape Town. And so that was definitely the most difficult part of the whole adventure. I felt like my hands and feet were in ice blocks. But I really just had to remind myself of why I was doing this and to raise awareness about mental health and what's possible when you invest in therapy. And that's really what propelled me forward.
So let's go back to the backstory for that. And we were just chatting off camera about everybody has a backstory when you're an endurance athlete. Your backstory goes back just a couple of years. You were shut in like the rest of the world.
Yes.
And it was taking its toll, wasn't it?
Absolutely. So for most of my life, I struggled with anxiety and OCD, particularly around contamination, germs, pandemics. So as you can probably imagine, in 2020, I went into an incredibly dark space. Like most people, was quarantined, but the thing was I didn't leave quarantine. I stayed in my apartment for months after the world started to open up, was spending hours every day boiling everything, sanitizing all the food I ate. And when I entered an OCD recovery program, we set completing a triathlon as the pinnacle goal for me to work through all of the mental health tools that I was learning. And so I thought, what an epic way to kind of commemorate this OCD journey.
So the pinnacle goal, which you reached in a very short amount of time, but here's what I find is very remarkable about you. You set the goal, which is great. The mental recovery was strong, and that's the best part of the whole story. You were not an endurance athlete to begin this.
So 3 years ago, I'd never run more than 3 miles. I wish I had some photos of me as a kid to show you. I was the most awkward, lanky. I got cut from the JV swim team. I'll never forget my junior year of high school. JV tennis team. There were 12 spots. I was number 13. I was the one that got cut.
All right, so real quick, let's help others out there. From the mental standpoint, right? You had to take a leap of faith, right? And you had to set these goals to reach physical and mental goals. What's the best advice to folks out there who maybe are feeling, shut in, whether it's pandemic or not, that you can help right now?
My best advice would be that therapy makes you strong, not weak, and finding community and people who are going to support you where you can be open and vulnerable about what you're going through will enable you to complete anything. To your point, I would not have been able to do this without the community of runners from the World Marathon Challenge, and also in each city I went, the local triathlon clubs and mental health advocates who came together to help set the course, deal with curveballs as they came. It was all about that community support.
All right, quick follow-up. Obviously, you're in great physical shape now that you've been able to accomplish this. How about mentally? How are you doing?
Doing a lot better, thank you. I'm kind of graduated from my OCD recovery program and now spending my time trying to help other people who deal with various forms of mental health challenges.
I love it. Congratulations. What's next?
Thank you. Doing a triathlon with you.
Oh, I
know you want to do one. I know you want to do one.
We'll see what we can do.
Okay,
Thanks
you.
for joining us. Congratulations. Best wishes.
Thank you.
There's more information if you want to follow Raymond online. It's a great story and a great job.